Kim works as an Uber driver, but driving isn't what truly excites her. Her real passion is hunting for strange and mysterious stories that he can turn into viral videos and earn good money from. During one of her searches, she discovers rumors surrounding a nearby railway station. People claim that passengers have mysteriously disappeared there, while others have died under unexplained circumstances. Curious to uncover the truth, Kim heads straight to the station. When she questions the station master about these strange incidents, the old man immediately refuses to say anything. He warns Kim that some stories are better left untold because digging into the truth could put someone's life in danger. However, after a long conversation, the station master finally agrees to share one of the many horrifying incidents that took place at the station. According to him, this particular story involved a young college student. The young man had recently joined college, but instead of focusing on his studies, he quickly fell in with the wrong crowd. Before long, he became addicted to drugs, and causing trouble for innocent people became a part of his daily routine. Every day, he traveled through this railway station by train, harassing passengers as if nothing could ever happen to him. One day, while wandering through the train as usual, he noticed a young girl behaving very strangely. She repeatedly slammed her head against the wall of the train compartment as though she was trying to hurt herself. The sight surprised him for a moment, but he simply ignored it. When his station arrived, he got off the train and forgot all about her. But the next day, the same girl appeared again in the exact same spot, repeating the exact same disturbing behavior. Once again, he ignored her and went on with his day. However, this wasn't just a coincidence. Day after day, the girl continued to appear in the same place, doing the same terrifying thing. Not for one day, or two, or even three, but for an entire week. Every time the train arrived, she was always there, silently repeating the same unsettling actions, as if she was trying to send him a message. One day, he boarded the train much later than usual. This time, the compartment was almost completely empty. Even so, the mysterious girl was still there. By now, he had already realized that she couldn't possibly be a normal human being. Just then, his phone suddenly rang. As he answered it, someone sent him CCTV footage from the train station. The video showed a young girl taking her own life, and the moment he saw her face, he froze in disbelief. It was the very same girl he had been seeing on the train every single day. What shocked him even more was the date on the footage. It wasn't from years ago. It had happened just 1 month earlier. Terrified but desperate to understand the truth, he remained inside the train instead of getting off. Moments later, the ghostly girl suddenly appeared right in front of him. The sight made him stumble backward, and before he could recover, something crashed down from above. When he looked closely, his blood ran cold. It was the severed head of the same girl. Panic took over as he desperately tried to escape, but the ghost immediately attacked him. Just as it seemed all hope was lost, he suddenly opened his eyes. He was still sitting inside the train. Relieved, he convinced himself that everything had only been a terrifying nightmare. However, that relief lasted only a few moments. As soon as he stepped off the train, he found himself standing at the exact spot where the girl had committed suicide. He stared at the place in complete shock. Then, he felt an eerie presence behind him. Deep down, he already knew who it was. The ghost of the same girl was standing right behind him, ready to drag him into the valley of death. With that, the station master's story came to an end. Kim found the incident incredibly fascinating and immediately decided that this terrifying tale would be perfect for his YouTube channel. Without wasting any time, he prepared to turn the horrifying story into her next viral video. After uploading the story, Kim waited for the response, hoping it would finally bring her the views and subscribers she had been dreaming of. But nothing changed. The video barely gained any attention, leaving her frustrated and disappointed. To make things even worse, one of her co-workers constantly mocked her. The woman already had over 1 million subscribers and never missed an opportunity to remind Kim that content creation simply wasn't her talent. Her harsh words hit Kim hard, but instead of giving up, they only strengthened her determination. She promised herself that she would keep making videos until one of them finally reached the audience she wanted. The very next day, Kim returned to the railway station and once again asked the station master for another mysterious story. At first, he refused, insisting that he didn't want to reveal any more of the station's dark secrets. But after seeing how desperate and emotional Kim had become, he finally gave in and agreed to tell her another chilling tale. This time, the story was about a lonely college girl. She had no friends at school, and everyone around her kept their distance. Although people never openly told her why, she knew the painful truth. She believed everyone avoided her because of the way her nose looked. It became such a deep insecurity that she desperately wished she could change it, but there was nothing she could do. One day, while riding the train, she noticed one of her classmates happily talking to another student. The sight made her heart sink. She had always wanted to become friends with that boy herself, but now she felt she had lost even that chance. Her insecurity grew even stronger, convincing her that no one would ever accept her. As these thoughts consumed her, another strange passenger entered the train. A mysterious woman stood silently nearby with her face wrapped in bandages. The college girl paid no attention to her, but something felt terribly wrong. Beneath those bandages, the woman had no nose at all, and her eyes remained fixed on the unsuspecting girl. As soon as the college girl stepped off the train, the mysterious woman with the bandaged face quietly followed her. She called out to the frightened girl and, with an unsettling smile, told her that her nose looked beautiful. The compliment felt strangely disturbing. Confused, the college girl turned around, only to freeze in shock. The bandaged woman slowly revealed her face. She had no nose at all. Staring directly into the girl's eyes, she asked in a chilling voice, "Will you give me your nose?" Terrified, the college girl quickly pulled out her phone and began recording her. But the moment she looked at the screen, her fear turned into absolute horror. The woman wasn't visible in the camera at all. That was when she realized the truth. She wasn't dealing with a human. She was being chased by a ghost. Panicking, the girl ran as fast as she could through the station before hiding inside a restroom. With trembling hands, she tried calling her family and friends for help. But before anyone could answer, the ghost silently entered the washroom. There was nowhere left to escape. Moments later, the spirit attacked her and brutally took her life. The station master's story ended there. Kim was fascinated by what she had just heard. What made the story even more believable was that a few years earlier, the news had reported the mysterious death of a female student inside the station's restroom. Because of that real incident, Kim believed this video had a much better chance of attracting viewers. This time, she went all out. She dressed in a horror-themed outfit and recorded the entire video inside the railway station itself to make it feel even more authentic. After uploading it, the results were beyond her expectations. The video exploded in popularity, bringing in huge numbers of views. Her subscriber count grew rapidly, and for the first time, she started earning real money from her channel. But success only made Kim more ambitious. The more views she gained, the more she craved new terrifying stories. Driven by greed and the desire to grow her channel even further, she once again returned to the station master, asking him for another horrifying tale. The station master then began another disturbing story. This one was about a man whose life had completely fallen apart. He had borrowed money from several people, but everything eventually collapsed. He lost his home, his business, and almost everything he owned. With nowhere else to go, he was forced to spend his days at the railway station. Even there, his creditors refused to leave him alone. They continued hunting him down until they had taken away nearly everything he had. In the end, all that remained in his pocket was a single coin. Starving and desperate for food, he wandered through the station, wondering what he could possibly buy with such a small amount of money. As he walked across the platform, he noticed a well-dressed man wearing an expensive suit. The sight filled him with bitterness and jealousy. While he was struggling just to survive, others seemed to be living comfortably. Overcome with frustration, he began shouting in anger. Just then, he heard a strange noise behind him. When he turned around, he found a vending machine that hadn't caught his attention before. It was fully stocked with cold drinks, and a sign claimed that 1 coin was enough to get a can. Surprised by his luck, he immediately inserted his last remaining coin into the machine. The moment the coin disappeared inside, a loud scream echoed from somewhere across the station. But the starving man ignored it completely. All he cared about was the drink that had just dropped from the machine. Eagerly, he opened the can, only to discover that it was completely empty. Disappointed, he threw the empty can onto the ground. As it rolled across the platform, it came to a stop near the well-dressed man he had seen earlier. But when he looked up, the man had mysteriously vanished. Only his expensive clothes and his wallet were left behind, lying on the ground as if the person wearing them had disappeared into thin air. The homeless man had no idea what had just happened. All he knew was that the well-dressed stranger had vanished without a trace. Without wasting a second, he picked up the expensive clothes and the wallet lying on the ground. Inside the wallet was a large amount of cash. Overjoyed by his sudden fortune, he changed into the man's clothes and began living off the stolen money, finally enjoying proper meals after days of hunger. The next day, he returned to the station once again. As hunger started creeping back in, he found himself standing in front of the same mysterious vending machine. Curious, he inserted another coin and collected another can of cold drink. At that exact moment, one of the men who had been searching for him to recover their money suddenly appeared nearby. The creditor looked furious, and the homeless man knew he could be beaten or even killed if he was caught. Thinking quickly, he opened the cold drink can while standing directly in front of the man. Just like before, the can was completely empty. But the moment it was opened, the man let out a horrifying scream. Within seconds, his entire body vanished into thin air, leaving behind nothing but his clothes. That was when the homeless man finally understood the horrifying truth. This wasn't an ordinary vending machine. It was cursed. Whoever stood in front of the person opening the can would mysteriously disappear forever. Instead of destroying the cursed machine or warning others, greed completely consumed him. Every night, he returned to the station in search of new victims. He would make unsuspecting people stand in front of him, open another can from the vending machine, and watch them disappear. Afterward, he would steal their money and valuables, using them to eat well and live a luxurious life. Little by little, his life transformed completely. He was no longer poor. In fact, he became incredibly wealthy. But no matter how rich he became, his greed only continued to grow. One night, while searching the station for yet another victim, he walked toward the opposite platform, hoping to find someone else to sacrifice to the cursed vending machine. The opposite platform was the exact place where everything had begun. As the wealthy man searched for another victim, he suddenly noticed a homeless man standing across from him. The moment he looked closer, his heart nearly stopped. The homeless stranger was none other than his own past self. Without realizing what was happening, his younger self opened the cursed can, just as he had done on that very first day. In that instant, the wealthy man understood the horrifying truth. The debt that had destroyed his life had eventually led him to unimaginable riches, but those riches had come with a terrible price. The curse had always demanded a sacrifice, and that sacrifice was himself. The moment the younger version opened the can, the older version disappeared into thin air. That meant the first victim had never been a random stranger. The homeless man had unknowingly erased his own future self. It was a never-ending time loop. For a while, the future version would enjoy wealth and luxury, only to return to the station where his past self would once again make him disappear. The cycle repeated endlessly, trapping both versions of the same man in an eternal curse. Kim absolutely loved this terrifying story and quickly uploaded it to her YouTube channel. This time, the response was unbelievable. The video gained massive attention, her views skyrocketed, and her subscriber count crossed another major milestone. Everyone at the office congratulated her, and her coworkers even organized a celebration to mark her success. The person who seemed most affected by Kim's sudden rise was Lena, the creator with over 1 million subscribers who had always looked down on her. Watching Kim become the center of everyone's attention filled her with jealousy. But Kim barely noticed. She was too busy enjoying her success, constantly checking her rapidly increasing views and reading the flood of positive comments from her audience. However, among all those comments, One message stood out. It appeared repeatedly under her latest video, posted over and over again by someone claiming to be a young woman. The comment carried a chilling warning. It said, "Delete this video. These stories are cursed. That railway station is cursed. People who don't believe the truth behind that place always regret it. If you still don't believe me, come and meet me." After seeing the same warning posted repeatedly beneath her videos, Kim finally became uneasy. Curiosity got the better of her, and she decided to meet the mysterious girl who had been leaving those frightening comments. The girl arrived at a restaurant completely covered from head to toe, clearly terrified that someone might recognize her. After making sure no one was listening, she revealed a horrifying secret. According to her, the railway station wasn't just an ordinary station. It was actually built on a gateway that led straight to hell. She explained that many years ago, a satanic cult had existed at that very location. The cult's leader forced his followers to perform horrifying rituals and offer human sacrifices to the devil. Eventually, under the leader's command, every member of the cult willingly gave up their own lives. It is believed that the souls of those followers never left that place and still wander through the station even today. Years later, a railway station was built over the same land, but nothing ever went right there. Strange incidents became common, and countless people mysteriously fell victim to the evil spirits haunting the station. The girl begged Kim to delete every video she had uploaded about the place. She warned that the more people watched those videos, the more visitors would be drawn to the station, giving the demonic forces even more innocent victims. Then she revealed one final terrifying truth. She admitted that she herself had already become one of the devil's victims. Kim struggled to believe such an unbelievable story. But before she could question her any further, a terrifying shadow suddenly appeared nearby. The girl's terrified reaction made it clear that she hadn't been lying. She immediately ran away, leaving Kim standing there in complete confusion. When Kim looked behind her, however, there was nothing there at all. Still disturbed by everything she had heard, Kim returned to her office and couldn't stop thinking. Should she delete the videos? Should she abandon the channel she had worked so hard to build? She wrestled with those questions until something else caught her attention. She noticed that the man she liked was getting closer to another female Uber creator. Jealousy quickly replaced her fear. Driven by frustration, Kim made up her mind. No matter what it took, she would grow her channel until it reached 1 million subscribers. Consumed by anger and determination, Kim returned to the railway station once again. She asked the station master to tell her more stories, insisting that she still had countless videos to make. By now, her channel was growing rapidly, and she was willing to do anything to keep the momentum going. The station master sighed and warned her once again. He reminded Kim that she was already earning good money and receiving the recognition she had always wanted. He pleaded with her to leave the station behind before it was too late. But Kim refused to listen. Seeing that she wouldn't change her mind, the old man finally began telling another horrifying story. This story was about a popular content creator who was obsessed with making videos at the station. Then came a shocking revelation. The creator in the story wasn't a stranger at all. It was Lena, Kim's own rival. Kim was stunned. She already knew that Lena had been visiting the station regularly to record mysterious videos for her channel. According to the station master, everything began one day while Lena was filming at the station. During the shoot, her hand accidentally touched a strange metal handle. The moment she touched it, she felt an intense pain shoot through her arm. At first, she ignored it, believing it was nothing serious. But the pain never went away. Instead, the infection slowly spread throughout her body. Sometimes her hand would start bleeding for no reason. Other days, she would develop a high fever. Eventually, blood even began flowing from her nose, mouth, and gums. Despite these terrifying symptoms, Lena paid almost no attention to her worsening condition. Her entire focus remained on her YouTube channel. Every video she filmed at the station brought in huge numbers of views and subscribers, making her even more addicted to creating content there. Blinded by success, she kept returning to the station again and again. At the same time, she continued trying to undermine Kim, doing everything she could to keep her rival from becoming more successful. Eventually, the mysterious infection became so severe that Lena could no longer ignore it. She finally went to a doctor for treatment, but even after running numerous tests, the doctors couldn't identify what disease she was suffering from. One morning, Lena woke up and noticed something impossible. Tiny flowers had started growing from the wounds on her hand. Before she could even process what was happening, the flowers rapidly bloomed, and thick vines began spreading across her body. Within moments, the unnatural plants completely consumed her, and the horrifying curse claimed her life. After finishing the story, the station master watched Kim's reaction. Instead of being frightened, Kim became excited. She immediately realized that this terrifying incident would make another incredible video for her YouTube channel. Without hesitation, she uploaded it, and just as she expected, the video exploded in popularity. Thousands of new subscribers flooded her channel almost overnight. But despite her success, Kim couldn't stop thinking about what the mysterious girl had told her earlier. According to that girl, the railway station had once been the site of a satanic temple, where a cult worshipped the devil. Unable to ignore her curiosity any longer, Kim asked the station master whether those stories were actually true. The old man stared at her silently before revealing an even more terrifying secret. He claimed that the leader of that cult had never truly disappeared. According to him, the cult leader was still alive, somewhere inside the railway station. Then he asked Kim a chilling question. "Do you want to meet him? Do you want to record the greatest video of your life?" He told her to return to the station alone at exactly 3 o'clock that night. The moment Kim heard those words, her greed completely took over. She imagined how famous she would become if she managed to capture the legendary cult leader on camera. A single video like that could turn her into an internet sensation overnight. While Kim was discussing all of this with the station master, another investigation was unfolding elsewhere. A police officer arrived looking for Kim. When one of her friends asked what had happened, the officer revealed something shocking. Kim's latest videos contained the station master's voice, and the police were trying to locate him because the real station master had actually been missing for several years. The scene then shifted back to Kim. She arrived at the railway station in the middle of the night, exactly as instructed. But when she looked around, the station master was nowhere to be found. As Kim searched the empty station, she suddenly heard the crackling sound of a walkie-talkie. Curious, she picked it up. The moment she pressed the button, the station master's voice echoed through the speaker. He calmly said, "The very first time you came to me, I knew you were different. But today, I'm finally going to tell you a story that will show you what true horror really is. Only then will you understand what real fear feels like." The station master then began his final story. This time, it wasn't about someone else. It was about himself and his old partner. According to him, they had both been assigned to work at the station several years earlier. Ever since they started their duties, countless people had approached them with strange stories about the station. They dismissed every one of those tales as nothing more than superstition because neither of them truly believed anything paranormal existed. Then one night, while monitoring the CCTV cameras, the station master noticed a figure standing near one of the railway tunnels. Since almost nobody visited the station after dark, he assumed it was probably a YouTuber trespassing to record mysterious content. He asked his partner to go and check the area. Minutes turned into hours, but his partner never returned. Growing increasingly worried, the station master grabbed his walkie-talkie and headed toward the tunnel himself. When he finally reached the tunnel, he found a train standing silently on the tracks with all of its lights switched on. Believing his partner might be inside, he stepped into one of the compartments. The moment he entered, the train doors slammed shut behind him. Before he could react, the train suddenly roared to life and began racing through the darkness. The station master lost his balance and fell to the floor, terrified and unable to understand what was happening. Just then, the walkie-talkie crackled again. His partner's voice came through the static, telling him, "I can see you. Stay where you are. I'm coming to save you." Hearing his partner's voice brought the station master a brief sense of relief. Almost immediately, the train came to a sudden stop. Thinking he was finally safe, he walked toward the exit, ready to step outside. But just as the doors opened, something horrifying appeared in front of him. A face slowly moved toward the window. At first, he thought it belonged to someone else. Then he looked closer, and his blood ran cold. It was his own face. There was no body attached to it. The severed head was simply floating there, held up by unseen hands. Terrified, the station master finally understood the truth. The station was haunted by the souls of the satanic cult. They had already killed him, and his soul had become trapped inside the cursed train forever. The voice on the walkie-talkie continued its confession. "I died that day, but my soul never left this station. I've remained imprisoned inside this train all these years, waiting for someone to take my place. That's why I kept luring you back with horrifying stories. I needed your body so I could finally escape." The moment those words ended, the station master's spirit emerged from the darkness and possessed Kim's body. At the same time, Kim's own soul became trapped inside the cursed train, taking the station master's place. She screamed for help, desperately hoping someone would hear her. A short while later, Kim's friend arrived at the station looking for her. From inside the train, Kim could see her friend clearly and shouted with all her strength. But no matter how hard she tried, her voice never reached the outside world. Instead, her friend saw someone else approaching. It looked exactly like Kim. What she didn't realize was that it wasn't Kim anymore. The body now belonged to the station master, who had finally escaped his prison. Free once again, he walked out into the world, ready to lure more innocent people back to the station, sacrifice them, and expand the cult's army of trapped souls. With that chilling revelation, the movie comes to a terrifying end, leaving behind the horrifying truth that the curse of the station is far from over.